Hey everybody, it's Nolan from SYNQ. Everybody wants to talk to us about replacing their call buttons or adding a call button option to their store when previously they couldn't justify the expense based on the hardware. Now, I'm not going to get into the challenges with a traditional call button. When we go to shows, you guys tell us more about the problems with call buttons than we ever even thought. And when we think about a traditional call button and the simplicity of the build, and we think about the best computer that we have in the entire store, it's this one, the one walking around in the customer's pocket. In this case, it's my iPhone. The simple fact is, QR code scanning is now here to stay, and perhaps the only positive thing that could ever have happened from a pandemic. Every single time I go to a restaurant, a hotel, even a government agency, there's a QR code for some type of interactivity. So now what we can do with software, all based on Microsoft Teams and those adaptive cards, what we can do is we can create signage that says for fastest help, call button replacement, whatever that looks like, we just have some good signage and a QR code. Now, if I did this demo 3 or 4 years ago, we'd probably have to start out by explaining to people how to scan a QR code. Thankfully, that's no longer the case. I pull up my camera and I scan that QR code. Now, the fact that we can put these QR codes in so many more spots because we're not constrained by the cost of hardware and all those transceivers, we can start putting these in whereby they're in a specific section to really locate customers to that 4-foot, 8-foot, right-hand, left-hand side of the store. And because we end up having all those different locations, we can curate the questions at the QR code specific to the product. If there's a 4-foot section with a locking showcase, we're gonna have some locking showcase questions there. If it's a 4-foot section with some high cube display only, we're gonna have some questions based on high cube. And of course, this works for all of your out of stock. So in this specific example, we've got a locking showcase, help with a bulky item, the items in this area are out of stock, or I just want some department help. So because we're able to do zone defense, curating help based on 4 questions as opposed to some random audible that's going off that customer in plumbing wants help, we can end up sending the right person through Microsoft Teams to that department and work through all those escalations and all that reporting data. So for this, I simply select, I want help in this department from a department manager. You're gonna hear that audible go off. I've got my ruggedized Samsung device here, and I'm gonna be able to go in there, I'm gonna be able to help the customer. You'll notice as well, with wearables, I had that notification come through on my smartwatch. And because of the simplicity of all this, we don't necessarily have to depend on everybody having a device. We can also look at what options are available with wearable technologies. So because we're running zone coverage, not man-to-man, we're gonna go in there and I'm the right person in the store based on the algo to help that customer in store based on my department duties in Microsoft Teams. I'm gonna claim that ticket in the adaptive card, and I'm gonna go right to that area. I know exactly where that person is. Now for the customer, we all know the frustrations with call boxes. We all know the frustrations of just trying to randomly go through the store and find help. For the customer, we get the assurance that someone's on the way because we've got a tracker on the device. You'll see it on screen here, showing that someone has reviewed, then they're on the way to me, and then they'll close that ticket out. I can also cancel that if I've helped myself or somebody else just happened to help me, or we can add chat 2-way. Super easy to configure, super easy to scale, and at the right cost point. Now, of course, this is all about the opportunity to replace or extend your existing call buttons, but this is the new idea of going and putting this in places that before call button costs just wouldn't justify. So we're talking about retailers now adding this to their change rooms and to areas of service in satellite locations whereby later at night, coverage is low. And as always, this one of 19 modules is always the same. Download Microsoft Teams, download My Store by SYNQ in the appstores.microsoft.com, and let's get going.